Volcanoes, the unstoppable forces of nature that erupted and destroyed everything in their way and around. Do you know their names from history? Today we are going to talk about the most destructive volcanic eruptions ever recorded. If you are living near or in that area, or if you have any connection to these incidents, please share your knowledge. We all love to hear your stories. Welcome to Ceaseless Echoes. Please like, share, and subscribe for more breathtaking journeys through Earth's wonders. Mount Tambora, Indonesia, 1815. Our first stop is Mount Tambora in Indonesia, which erupted in the year 1815. This was the largest volcanic eruption in recorded history. The explosion was so powerful that it wiped out villages instantly and killed more than 71,000 people, both directly and indirectly. But the destruction didn't stop there. The eruption threw so much ash and gas into the atmosphere that it caused what we now call the year without a summer. Across the world, skies turned dim, temperatures dropped, and crops failed, leading to famine and suffering far beyond Indonesia. Mount Tambora stands as a reminder of how a single eruption can change not just a region, but the entire planet. Krakatoa, Indonesia, 1883. Our next devastating eruption came from Krakatoa, also in Indonesia, in the year 1883. This eruption is remembered as one of the loudest and most violent events in Earth's history. The explosion was so massive that it was heard over 3,000 miles away. Imagine that! The sound of destruction traveling across oceans and continents. Entire parts of the island vanished, and the eruption triggered giant tsunamis that struck nearby coastlines, killing more than 36,000 people. The skies turned red, sunsets looked unreal for months, and the world felt the shock of Krakatoa's fury. This eruption was a chilling reminder of how fragile human settlements can be when faced with the raw power of nature. Mount Vesuvius, Italy, 79 AD. Now let's travel back in time to the year 79 AD, when Mount Vesuvius erupted in Italy. This eruption is one of the most famous in history, not just for its destruction, but for the way it preserved a moment in time forever. When Vesuvius exploded, it unleashed massive clouds of ash and hot gas that buried the Roman cities of Pompeii and Herculaneum. Thousands of people died instantly, their final moments frozen under layers of volcanic ash. For centuries, these cities remained hidden, until archaeologists uncovered them, perfectly preserved, almost like a time capsule of ancient life. The eruption of Mount Vesuvius shows us how nature can destroy in an instant, yet also preserve history in a way nothing else can. In 1902, the Caribbean island of Martinique faced one of the deadliest volcanic disasters in modern history. Mount Pelée erupted with unimaginable force, and within minutes, the thriving city of Saint-Pierre was gone. A scorching pyroclastic flow, a fast-moving cloud of hot gas, ash, and rock, rushed down the mountain and swallowed the entire city. More than 30,000 people were killed almost instantly, leaving Saint-Pierre known as the Pompeii of the Caribbean. Only a handful of people survived, including one famous prisoner locked in a stone cell, shielded from the deadly heat outside. Mount Pelée's eruption is a tragic reminder of how quickly life can change when nature unleashes its fury. In 1985, Colombia witnessed one of the most heartbreaking volcanic tragedies of the 20th century. The volcano Nevado del Ruiz erupted, but it wasn't the lava that caused the most destruction. It was the deadly lahars, or volcanic mud flows. When the eruption melted the mountain's glaciers, torrents of mud, ash, and debris rushed down the slopes with terrifying speed. Entire towns were buried beneath this wall of destruction. The worst hit was the town of Armero, where more than 23,000 people lost their lives in a single night. This disaster became known as the Armero tragedy, and it stands as a chilling example of how volcanic hazards extend far beyond fire and ash. Sometimes it's the hidden dangers, like mud flows, that bring the most devastation. In 2010, the world was reminded that even a relatively small volcano could bring global chaos. The eruption of Mount Eyjafjallajökull in Iceland sent massive plumes of ash high into the atmosphere. What made this eruption unique was not its death toll, thankfully very few lives were lost, but the way it disrupted modern life. The ash cloud spread across Europe, forcing airlines to ground flights for weeks. Millions of passengers were stranded, global trade was disrupted, and the cost of this event ran into billions of dollars. Eyjafjallajökull showed us how interconnected our world has become, how a remote volcano in Iceland could freeze international travel, and remind us that nature still holds the upper hand. In 1980, the United States faced one of its most infamous natural disasters, the eruption of Mount St. Helens in Washington state. The eruption was triggered by a massive landslide, the largest in recorded history, which uncapped the volcano and released an enormous explosion. Ash shot 15 miles high into the atmosphere, darkening the skies and covering towns across several states. 57 people lost their lives, forests were flattened like matchsticks, rivers were choked with debris, and the landscape was forever changed. What was once a beautiful mountain peak was left with a gigantic crater, a permanent reminder of that explosive day. Mount St. Helens is a powerful example of how quickly a peaceful mountain can turn into a force of destruction. These eruptions remind us of one undeniable truth. Earth is alive, and its power is beyond anything we can imagine. From the frozen ash of Pompeii to the roaring skies of Krakatoa, volcanoes have destroyed cities, changed climates, and even rewritten history. But they also shaped our world into the breathtaking planet we see today. Mountains, islands, fertile lands, all born from fire. If you or your family have lived through a volcanic eruption, or if your hometown carries memories of these fiery giants, we would love to hear your stories in the comments below. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Earth's most destructive eruptions. This is Ceaseless Echoes. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible stories of our planet's wonders and its unstoppable forces.